In Westeros, men feared dragons, White Walkers, and kings, but they cowered at the whisper of one name, Tywin Lannister. Today we expose the tactical brilliance that made him the most feared commander in the realm, and the blind spot that turned his legacy to ash. This isn't just a story of battles won, it's the anatomy of a lion who forgot he could bleed. House Lannister was a joke under Tywin's father, Tytos. Lords repaid loans with insults, bannermen rebelled openly. Tytos, a man of laughter and mercy, allowed the Westerlands to bleed gold and pride. When Lord Tarbeck mocked him at a feast, Tytos smiled. When the Rains demanded Casterly Rock's gold, Tytos paid. But Tywin watched. He saw his father's weakness as a disease, and he knew the cure, fire and blood. When Tytos died, Tywin didn't just rebuild his house, he weaponized humiliation. He summoned the defiant bannermen to Casterly Rock, promising pardons. Instead, he delivered extinction. House Rain didn't just fall, it was drowned in blood and fire beneath Castemir's halls. The song wasn't a warning, it was a promise. And Tywin? He became the composer of fear. But here's the twist. Tywin's genius was born not of strategy, but of shame. Every battle he fought was to silence the laughter that haunted his childhood. His armor? It was forged from insecurity. While Robb Stark won hearts with honor and Stannis Baratheon charged with zeal, Tywin played a different game. Control. He let Robb win battles, Oxcross, Whispering Wood, while he won the war. At the Green Fork, he sacrificed 10,000 men, not to crush Robb, but to distract him. Why? Because Tywin knew Robb's real weakness, his arrogance. Robb believed himself untouchable, a young wolf with the gods on his side. Tywin exploited that. While Robb chased glory, Tywin moved the Lannister army like a scalpel, cutting supply lines, burning fields, and turning small folk against the north. He used Gregor Clegane as a terror weapon, sending him to ravage the Riverlands, forcing Robb to divide his forces to protect civilians. But Tywin's masterpiece wasn't a battlefield, it was a wedding. The Red Wedding wasn't just betrayal, it was psychological warfare. He didn't kill Robb Stark, he murdered hope. By breaking guest right, the oldest and most sacred law of gods and men, Tywin proved no one was safe. No honor, no oath, no love could withstand him. And in doing so, he signed his own death warrant. The North remembered, the Riverlands remembered, and the gods. They always collect their debts. When Tywin sacked King's Landing for Robert Baratheon, he didn't just switch sides, he bought the new dynasty. As Aerys Targaryen burned his city and his people, Tywin marched his lions to the gates. He swore loyalty to the Mad King, who opened the gates in gratitude. Then Tywin unleashed hell. His men raped, pillaged, and murdered. Elia Martell and her children, butchered in the Red Keep, their blood staining the throne room floor. Tywin called it necessary. But was it? He could have spared them. Instead, he chose terror, because Tywin understood what Robert never did. To rule Westeros, you don't need love, you need obedience. Fear is the chains that bind kingdoms. But here's the poison pill. That necessary evil birthed Oberyn Martell's vengeance. For years, Doran Martell whispered in the shadows, but Oberyn, he roared. He came to King's Landing not for justice, but for blood. When Tyrion demanded trial by combat, Oberyn saw his chance. He didn't just fight Gregor Clegane, he danced with death, screaming, "You raped her! You murdered her! You killed her children!" And when Gregor crushed his skull, Oberyn's last act was to coat his spear in poison. Tyrion didn't just kill Tywin on that privy, Oberyn loaded the crossbow. Every move Tywin made created the monster that devoured him. Tywin's military mind was flawless, except when it came to his own blood. He saw his children as chess pieces, Jaime as the sword, Cersei as the crown, Tyrion as the mistake. But while he orchestrated wars, he ignored the rebellion in his own castle. Cersei's paranoia? He dismissed it as feminine weakness. Tyrion's brilliance? He resented it as a deformity of the mind. Jaime's honor? He tried to break it, forcing his son to abandon the Kingsguard and inherit Casterly Rock, shattering the one oath Jaime ever kept. Tywin won every war except the one that mattered, the war for his family's soul. His genius was a cage. He demanded perfection, but gave no love. He demanded loyalty, but offered no trust. And when Tyrion shattered that cage with a crossbow bolt, he wasn't just killing a father, he was executing the idea of Tywin Lannister. The lion who roared was brought down by the runt he despised. Tywin Lannister died as he lived, humiliated. Not by an army, but by a dwarf he called a stain. Not on a battlefield, but on a toilet, his own bowels spilling into the water. The ultimate twist? His legacy didn't end with a roar, it ended with a whimper. Cersei, his golden daughter, burned King's Landing with wildfire, becoming the mad queen he'd feared. Jaime, his perfect heir, abandoned his post to die in the arms of the woman who'd destroyed their house. Tyrion, his greatest mistake, became a broken hand, watching empires crumble while drowning in wine. The lion who built an empire left it in ruins. Tywin's military genius was real, but it was built on a lie, that fear lasts forever. In the end, the only thing that outlived him was the hatred he sowed, and that was the one war he could never win.